Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com, and here to do some quick vinyl catch-up video. I'm not sure I'm going to get to all the vinyl today, but and I can also announce real quickly that I have my quarter season year update list in anticipation to do on a podcast. Hopefully it'll be coming sooner than later. And then I posted on the blog, I posted 6 of the albums calendars. I finished I'm all the way through all the 80s and 90s, so I'm going to start, I do want to start trying to make the actual podcast talking about each year, which goes back to 1965. So I might wait till I finish all of them, or at least I got 2001 and 2003 to finish, and then 2006 through 2017 will be a larger project because there's going to be so many extra ones to list. Anyway, let's get to the vinyl. So today, Friday, February 2nd, one album that came out today, I think it's 2 albums. It came out today or came out last week, I can't remember. In Vain, Norwegian blackened progressive death metal band. Their new album, Currents. This is their 4th record, and I've loved this band since 2007. I need to get some of the other records on vinyl. I know the last one, Enigma, which I really love, in 2013, so it's been 5 long years, or long years, short years. It's been 5 years. Came out on vinyl eventually, but yeah, it's a cool looking splash. It's like gray with blue and dirty yellow. And I can tell you that, yeah, interesting. I've only listened to this album once. I just finally got around to it this morning, actually, because thinking I was going to talk about it, but I didn't get a chance to hear it. It came in the mail just literally yesterday, so I think there was a stream, though, before that. I don't know what this is. It's like a poster or something like that. But as far as how good this record is, because In Vain has 3 previous albums. The first album, The Latter Rain, it's a cool looking picture of Currents. Everything's really dark and sort of like storybook kind of, you know, with them, it seems like. But The Latter Rain's my favorite, their debut album. They really blend styles of vocals with black and death metal, clean vocals, and shrieks like black metal. This album, after listening to it just once, and I'm going to have to listen to it more, obviously, and then when I do my list or whatever for the quarter year, I have to consider where it falls. It's pretty much on par, or it's not that much different than, say, their last album, especially Enigma. It's not as long, though. It's only a little over 40 minutes, I think. I was just doing the math on it. Oh, man. There's something maybe as a download card in there that's in the way. But, yeah, there's some saxophone. There's a really good chorus on the track. I think it's Origin. No. Blood We Shed and As the Horde Storms. Now, actually looking at this, what I found, I need to re-listen to this. I'm not going to, obviously, the vinyl downloading isn't going to be download. Vinyl, there's a download card in here, but I have actually must confess I haven't heard the whole thing. I only heard about 70% of it. So the 40-minute mark that I only heard about 42 minutes worth of it. It's probably closer to 50-some minutes then. But this thing actually wants to go in. Take up too much time on this video. Anyway, it's a good record, but the jury's kind of still out since I'm now reviewing the track list that I checked out today, and it's not entirely like this. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway, yeah, it's been mixed. Some people think it's great, some people think it's their worst record, but it's still good. There's still some samples, you know, the blend of styles, the extreme kind of in-your-face riffs, but I just think it's sort of a case of music that they've it's not changing styles. Also, that's very noteworthy that there's some guest singers, and also one of the members of In Vain sang on the last 2, I think, or played on the last 2 Subterranean Masquerade albums, and I was kind of reminded of Subterranean Masquerade and listening to it just naturally. I think maybe some of the Subterranean Masquerade stuff has rubbed off on In Vain a little bit, but anyway, so a favorite of mine, Fate's Warning, have reissued. I didn't have this on vinyl. Parallels, and also not just Parallels, but Perfect Symmetry, the album before it. Oh, and it comes with the poster, of course, too. So I finally was able to pick this up. I mean, I'd like to get an original pressing. They still are sold online, But it's a classic Parallels from 1991 also, just like Queensryche's album. Look at that brown stain there. Yeah, I've talked about Fates Warning and Parallels before in the past. This has been remastered for vinyl, I guess, though, so I don't really know how well this sounds until the day I can finally listen to all these records I've been buying. But yeah, this is it's a classic. It's not. I've mentioned how Pleasant Shade of Grey is my favorite Fates Warning, but they have like 5 albums I love, and they're a favorite of all time. So, I mean, what is it? If I had to name the 11th Hour would probably be my favorite track on here, but Life in Still Water, Point of View, Leave the Past Behind. You know, James LaBrie, of course, sings harmonies on Don't Follow Me. I think it's one of the other really poppy tracks. Eye to Eye is one of the poppiest tracks. We Only Say Goodbye, I believe it is. But I've never really been able to hear James LaBrie that well on that. I've listened to that song so many times. I always try to like hear the harmonies, his voice in it, and they're very subtle when you try to listen to them. But yeah, Life in Still Water, The Road Goes On Forever is a great closing piece. It's 4.5, bordering on 4.5 stars. This album, Parallels, for me. It holds up even though it has the sort of, I won't call it hair metal style production in some ways of the 80s, but it was in 1991. It was kind of a tail end of that. So, but then, much to my surprise, yesterday after I saw that at Cheapo, that was kind of surprising. And they had the new reissue of Perfect Symmetry as well. Cheapo ended up someone selling it, or they just ordered it. The first 2 Blackfield albums. So here's the first one, and I've enjoyed some of the Blackfield music since the first 2 albums, but really these first 2 albums, this first album especially, is where Blackfield was at their best. You know, Steven Wilson and Aviv Geffen's melancholy sort of pop rock project with some progressive leanings, or maybe more like psychedelic leanings, but very melancholy though. Anathema, I almost think owes something to Blackfield, the current Anathema, but there's Open Mind, the title track, Scars, I mean, Pains, Summer, Cloudy Now. There's not a bad song on here. They're choruses there, but they're sad music, and I always think of that girl Ariel Daniel, who died in that that train accident when she was 17-year-old, and the friend of hers, and she was a huge Porcupine Tree fan and Stephen Wilson and Blackfield fan, and right when she passed away, that was December or November of 2005 rather. I knew her from MySpace. She was the founder of the MySpace group from Porcupine Tree. I told Stephen Wilson about that myself actually, and he was asking. But this album was one that I associate with her for some reason in that time, even though all the songs obviously were written and recorded. This was released before any of that ever happened. But so that's the first Blackfield album. The second one, unfortunately, it looks like it got maybe a little bit of damage in the transport. But, you know, the sound is the most important thing. But I like the second one. This one came out in 2007. The first one was 2004, I believe. I like this one a lot. Not as much as the first one, but it has, like, Christenings and Once and Epidemic, especially. The End of the World is, lyrically, just think about it. I mean, again, they continued the whole melancholy thing, but I think they were trying to write more personal things rather than... or more worldly things, maybe. More global, more... I don't know. I haven't listened to this album as much as I've listened to the self-titled debut, but, you know, I remember it being a very close second. I just, you know, I've had a copy of it, my CD copy, on my desk at work here and there over the last few years. I just never got around to re-listening to it, but... So, but it's certainly, I think it's better than any of the records they put out since, so... I have some other vinyl that I haven't shown from the last month or so. Some other stuff, Typhoon and that good stuff. I think I will hold off on that for now because I got to get back to work and everything. Even though it's Friday, of course the Super Bowl's in town, so I haven't thankfully dealt with any of that stuff. I could also make one other short announcement that I mentioned in the blog that the albums calendar I was talking about at the beginning of this video. I'm going to start. I think once I get those done, which may not happen until maybe the end of the year or September or something like that, I want to do movies. I want to start doing the same kind of thing for movies. I think it would be fascinating because the albums calendars thing has been a really fun, interesting, learning, educational thing about when albums came out, what years and stuff. So film is a passion of mine almost as much as music. I love film. My favorite movie is Ghost World and The Wizard of Oz, kind of. But I love, especially independent cinema from the last like 15, 20 years. I was an addict to the independent film channel and Sundance and Indieplex, that kind of stuff. And then I had this great experience of either renting independent movies or stumbling across them on one of those networks, and it's like, why have I never heard about this movie? Because people don't get distribution for these smaller movies. But I'm going to make the calendars. I'll include, of course, the big Hollywood stuff, the release dates of Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Fletch and Caddyshack and all that good stuff. But don't be surprised. Just like all the albums calendar I've been making for the music, the movie calendars will have a lot of stuff that is really obscure and esoteric, which is right up my alley and up other people's alleys. So thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. Have you picked up any of the new records recently? The new Blackfield, these Blackfield reissues, or Fate's Warning, or In Vain? Have you heard of In Vain? I should do a separate video on them, actually. Maybe the point that I can pick up like The Latter Rain and Enigma on vinyl. They have one other record, Mantra, which I like, but not as much. But it's great to see them put out a new record today on February. It was February 2nd today, or is it the last? I can't remember. I know there's some other new releases today, like Long Distance Calling's new album, Boundless, and some others. But I'll be covering more of that good stuff on the next podcast, I think. So thanks for watching. Bye.